Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So I'm going to wait for people to join this live stream before I get started. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes. Then we can go ahead and get right into it. Hopefully, people will be able to join uh, and watch it live. If not, you can obviously watch it on the playback. So I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes, give people a chance to tune in, and then I'll get started. So we will be getting started in a second. I just want to give people time to tune in before I get started. Okay, so I see that we have a few people in the house, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And yeah, so you all know that I did a prior video about Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B's song WAP, which stands for Wet Ass Pussy. And I did a song that was critical. I mean, actually, a video that was critical of that song. And what I want to do is respond to a video today that I saw that Marc Lamont posted. And I want to make sure that you all can hear the audio before I go into the commentary. You can throw up a 7 and let me know if you can hear okay. I would appreciate it. Shout out to Def Rocker. Peace and blessings to you. Shout out to John Pro. Yeah, Def Rocker, all is well. That was on another side of town. From what I understand, one person was killed. At least one person was killed from that explosion. But all is well on my end. My friends and family are safe. Thank you, everyone, for letting me know that you can hear okay. So I'm going to play this audio. And before I even just let the whole thing play, I want you to let me know if you can hear. So I'm going to play it right now. And if you can let me know if this audio from this video comes through loudly and clearly, please let me know.
Stop acting like all your music was pristine and pure. You conceived your first children at the Greek picnic or Freaknik or some other ignorant place.
Okay, so could y'all hear Marc Lamont's voice when I just played that audio? So if you can just say yes or no. Okay, I see that Def Rocker threw up a 7. So I'm assuming that people can hear the audio that I just played. Okay, great. All right, so what I'm going to do is play this audio from Marc Lamont and then provide my commentary. And before I even get started, I'm just going to let you know off the top what I feel about his commentary. And then, I'll respond point by point. But in general, I mean, this seems like a pathetic example of a black man simping for Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. And, I just think that it's despicable, man. It's despicable that we have these so-called intellectuals that don't have the backbone or the heart to just speak truth. I mean, here you have one of the most ratchet, despicable videos and songs ever put out in a long time. And you got this guy simping and making excuses for this stuff and using all kinds of deflection tactics to make people feel bad for condemning debauchery. And I mean, when you look at these lyrics from this song, nobody in their right mind is looking at those lyrics and saying, oh, they're just great writers. They have some tight lyrics. They're, exceptional MCs and great lyricists. Nobody's thinking that when they listen to this trash. Nobody's thinking that these are some phenomenal MCs or something like that. All they are looking at is these women as sexual objects. That's all they're looking at. And they're looking at a song and a video that's nothing but soft porn. And let's just call it what it is. I mean, it's just a shame that you got this guy defending this stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and play the audio. And I'm going to show you the video. I'm not going to play his video over the screen. I'm just going to play the audio. But I'm going to show you the title of the video so that you'll know where you can see this video. And also, I'm going to show you some of the comments that people left to that video and respond to some of the comments. So here's the video right here. It's called Why Cardi B's WAP isn't problematic. This guy says that it isn't problematic. So let's go ahead and just play this audio from this guy. And I'm going to stop and interrupt as we go along. As he makes various points, I'm just going to stop and respond to them. So I'm going to start from the top.
Stop acting like all your music was pristine and pure. You conceived your first children at the Greek picnic or Freaknik or some other ignorant place.
So that's his intro to this particular video.
So a few days ago, Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion came out with a new song and video called WAP, which stands for Wet. And of course, the clean version.
See, he can't even say the name of the song on this particular video. The name of that song, again, for people who haven't heard it, is a WAP, and that stands for Wet Ass Pussy. That's the name of a song that these two women put out here. That sounds like the name to some porn video or something like that. But let's continue.
Version is wet and gushy. I like the song. I love Cardi.
So he says that he likes the song. Now, he's not liking the song because it has some incredible lyrics or some thought-provoking lyrics or anything like that, or some kind of compelling wordplay or anything like that. This song is straight garbage. And I'm just going to continue on. I mean, I could just keep stopping him forever. But for him to say, he's saying, well, I like the song. And it has a catchy beat. And first of all, like, we know that catchy hook that they use in that song is something that's recycled. It's just another sample and all that kind of stuff. So let's continue on with this.
I love Meg Thee Stallion. I love seeing these two women together. I love them reinforcing the idea that women can work together and build together and achieve together.
So he's talking about how he likes the fact that they can work together and achieve together and build together. I don't see this as necessarily building together. I mean, what are they building? What are they building in this song? I mean, the mere fact that two people are working together on a project, that shouldn't be cause for celebration. That shouldn't be cause for us to be dancing in the streets and celebrating it as if that's some kind of great achievement, as if people don't work together on songs all the time, as if you don't have rap artists that collaborate on songs all the time, women artists that collaborate on songs all the time, singers that collaborate on songs all the time. That's not some kind of great thing. That's not something great in and of itself to be bragging about, to say, oh, this is something that's so fantastic that you got these two women working together. I mean, it's like they are accepting little crumbs as if that's something that's so great and so magnificent. And it just shows you how desperate this guy is to come up with any kind of way to defend this debauchery, to defend this ratchetness, to defend these women who are literally singing about being hoes. That's the hook to their song. There's some hoes in this house. That's the hook to this song. So let me continue.
They don't have to see it as a zero-sum game where one person got to win, the other one got to lose, where they got to be at odds with each other. They are modeling what sisterhood should look like. So shout out to them for that.
So he's saying that they are modeling what sisterhood should look like. How is women engaging in lesbian type activity on screen, engaging in what is a virtual orgy on screen? How is that a model for sisterhood? How is women running around, damn near naked, talking about some wet ass pussy, calling themselves whores, at the direction of men? How in the hell is that celebrating sisterhood? How is that uplifting sisters and stuff like that? So let's continue on with this commentary.
I enjoy the song, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk to the people on the internet that have been hating. First group of people are the old people. Old people who are talking about how this music is trifling and nasty and they didn't do it like that in our day. Listen, if you over 35, then you grew up listening to Luke. You grew up listening to songs like Put It in Your Mouth by Akinelli. Stop acting like all your music was pristine and pure. You conceived your first children at the Greek picnic or Freaknik or some other ignorant place. You were backing ass up as 9-9s went into the 2000s. So please stop acting like somehow you doing something different than they're doing.
So I want to address this point. I mean, so he's basically saying, well, how can you criticize this when your generation did similar things? You know, and he's condemning these people as old people, the people that had to have the courage to speak out on this stuff. You know, first of all, even back then when those songs were out that he's talking about like the, you know, 2 Live Crew and Luke Campbell and all that kind of stuff. He's talking about your Little Kims and all that kind of stuff. He's acting like people weren't criticizing that music back then. He's acting like there were no people criticizing that music. He's acting like, you know, true hip hop heads weren't criticizing that stuff back then, when plenty of us were criticizing that music. Plenty of people were speaking out against, you know, that kind of debauchery and stuff like that. Because, I mean, 2 Live Crew, even though a lot of people like the party music and all that kind of stuff, I mean, it was raunchy music and they were being criticized everywhere. Black communities were criticizing 2 Live Crew. Plenty of people criticized, you know, groups like, you know, other groups that use that kind of language, and people like a Little Kim or even a Foxy Brown. So why is he acting like people have no authority to criticize something simply because during their time there was similar type of music? But I'll tell you what, there were no music videos that were like similar to this, you know, in terms of like the actual like explicit nature of it, you know, in terms of all the freakiness of it. And even if you were to say that, you know, the things that happened back in the day were similar to this, the fact of the matter is a lot of people condemned it. And it seems like what's happening now is that back in the day when 2 Live Crew and them were out, when you had, you know, the other artists that he was talking about, those artists were an anomaly. They were like the minority. They were like on the fringes. But now this has become the norm. Thought culture has become the norm in hip hop. It has become normal and expected for a woman to first be a hooker or a prostitute or something like that before she can become a hip hop artist. And that's how a lot of these women artists get on, man. A lot of them don't know how to rap. You know, they have people writing their rhymes for them. A lot of these women are pretty faces and beautiful bodies to tantalize men and, you know, get people to buy their products just based on sex. You know, and you've heard the popular saying that sex sells, and that's what you have in this particular situation. You have these people that don't know how to rap, don't have any kind of real lyrical skills or any of that stuff. The only thing that they have going for them is tits and ass and personality, and that's how they sell their music. So this guy, you know, I just think that he misses the point. The point is that this is becoming the new normal. The point is that this image is what's being put out there for our young women to follow, our girls to follow. Little kids be singing these songs, singing these Cardi B songs, singing the hooks to these songs. So I'm going to continue on with this. There's a few other points that I need to respond to.
Then you got the moral police. People say, oh my God, this music is so raunchy. This generation's music is so raunchy. If you listen to blues toasts, if you listen to early gangster rap, if you listen to rock music, if you listen to country music, every genre has music that ruffles the feathers and taps at our moral sensibilities. Stop singling out hip hop and stop singling out the hip hop of Black women to as if that's the only thing.
So, you know, again, you know, he's reiterating the same point about older music being, you know, raunchy and stuff like that in the past. And, you know, another thing that I see this as is a deflection. It is a deflection away from the core issue. And that's just the outright, you know, degradation of the Black woman. These same people that want to preach to you about misogyny and, you know, the oppression and objectification of Black women are the same people that's running around here celebrating this as if this is women's empowerment, as if this is some kind of sign of, a new feminism, a sign of progress for women. I mean, and it doesn't matter that people used to listen to stuff way back in the day. It doesn't matter that somebody, that, for instance, the blues had raunchy lyrics and all that stuff back in the day. That doesn't make it acceptable. It doesn't make it acceptable just because people did something way back in the day. That doesn't make it acceptable today for people to do it. Just for instance, just because people were selling drugs back in the 40s and the 50s, that doesn't make it okay for people to sell drugs today. Just because people were pimps and hoes back in the 70s, that doesn't make it acceptable for somebody to be a pimp or a hoe today. I mean, his logic is completely faulty. Bringing up this point about some moral police and all that kind of stuff. The fact of the matter is, it's like they have a backward sense of morality. They want to enforce their immorality on people. They want to make you seem like you're the bad guy. They want to be the reverse of the moral police. So when you call for decency, when you call for respect, when you call for modesty, when you call for, just women to be ladies instead of hoes and bitches and all that kind of stuff, all of a sudden they want to label you as if you're the problem. They want to say that you're the one slut shaming, you're the one being misogynistic when you're calling for respect for Black women. But yeah, I mean, this is the backwards logic that they use. They try to make people feel guilty for calling for some kind of sense of right and wrong. It's like they want to live in a world where anybody can do anything and there is no wrong, there is no right or wrong, and anything goes. And, as far as I'm concerned, every chance that I get, I'm going to use my voice to speak out about the issues that matter. It matters to me that our young girls are looking up to these trashy skanks as some kind of role model to be like. That is troubling to me. We've gone from, our girls looking up to a Michelle Obama as a role model to girls looking up to these thoughts. You know what I'm saying? These strippers and stuff like that. These women that are low character and low morality and stuff like that. Our children are looking up to that to be their role models. Women who are materialistic. They talk about using sex to get money from guys. So let's go on.
Somehow raunchy and unacceptable. Then you got the purity police who only want to be purity police for Black women. Now all of a sudden they're talking about these women are talking about their vaginas. These women are talking about sex. Men talk about sex all the time. Hip hop is filled with men who talk about their sexual prowess. And you never hear brothers get mad. You never hear these men criticizing other men for this. It's only when women talk about their sex.
Okay, so I want to deal with that. So he's talking about how, people are only critical when women say these things. And again, that goes back to the point that I raised before. People have criticized many rap artists, so-called gangster rap has been criticized. People like 2 Live Crew and Luke Campbell have been criticized. I mean, have these people forgotten about the campaigns that were waged in the early 90s to get rid of gangster rap and to get rid of misogynistic rap? Had they forgotten about, activists? I can't remember the woman's name, but you had this prominent Black woman who was speaking out against misogyny in hip hop, and they were literally staging protests and going to record studios to condemn that kind of music. And it was men, writing the music for the most part, the hip hop music at that time for the most part. Men were the target of that criticism. Men were the target for degrading women and, using all this sexual lyricism and all that kind of stuff. But, so let's not pretend like men haven't been criticized for degrading lyrics and stuff like that. And let's not pretend like people like myself haven't criticized male artists for their disrespect of women, the objectification of women. It's like this man is conveniently forgetting all the criticism that has been leveled at male rappers for their misogyny and disrespect of women. There are so many essays and so many videos on here where people are criticizing these men. So, I mean, for him to pretend like nobody's criticizing him, men for these kind of lyrics is simply disingenuous. And it's again designed to have you looking over here instead of looking right here where we see, looking way over there. We're dealing with some old lyrics that some male rappers put out instead of dealing with what we see in front of our face, where these women are talking about all this crazy stuff. And what I'm going to do is just show the lyrics so people could understand. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't have let me just be perfectly clear right now. I'm not saying that people should not have the right to put out the kind of music that they want to put out. But just as they have the First Amendment right to put out their music, I have the right to criticize it. I don't believe in censorship. I believe that people should be able to express themselves, but people like myself should be able to express ourselves as well to criticize the garbage that we see out here. So let me continue on. So in this particular video, he's showing all these lyrics from these other, these black male MCs, and they're saying, well, hey, nobody's criticizing this. But then again, plenty of people have done this. Plenty of people have criticized a Jay-Z. Often, I mean, they often criticize these artists. So let's stop playing games, man. It's like, and he's probably one of the people that do criticize these artists. I mean, this guy is just the epitome of a simp, man. It's like he is simping to please these women, these women that are just shameless out here. These women that make excuses for all kinds of despicable behavior just because it's a woman engaging in the activity. These same women that defended, defended Jada Pickett are the same ones defending this trash. And that's what it is. It's straight up trash. Just from an artistic perspective, it's trash. It's garbage. But anyway, let's continue on with this.
Sexual desire. It's only when women talk about their ability to be agents, that is to say, they're able to choose who they want to have sex with. They have confidence over their sex lives. They are sex positive. They have positive affirmative attachments to sex and their desire and their pleasure, and they prioritize that. When that happens, all of a sudden people start tripping. That's why we love Cardi. That's why we love Meg. That's why we love Lil' Kim back in the day, because she was willing to assert her own sexual desire and not just simply be the receptacle for male desire. So shout out again to Cardi and Meg for doing this. And the last criticism that comes up is...
So I'm going to play that little part again. Just
talk about their sexual prowess. And you never hear brothers get mad. You never hear these men criticizing other men for this. It's only when women talk about their sexual desire. It's only when women talk about their ability to be agents. That is to say, they're able to choose who they want to have sex with. They have confidence over their sex lives. They are sex positive. They have positive affirmative attachments to sex and their desire.
So I just want to talk about this. He's like making this seem like it's so positive that you have these women doing these things. He's saying they're sex positive, they're affirmative, and all this and that. Just riddle me this: like, how in the hell is calling yourself a hoe positive? How is that affirming? How is reducing yourself down to a sex object affirming? And I'm just going to show these lyrics so you all can see them. Just bear with me a second. Okay, so here are the lyrics of this song. This song repeats over and over again. There's some hoes in this house. And right here, they wrote out whores in this house, but the song actually says hoes in this house. And that's the same as a whore. What is a whore? Let's look up whore. And I probably really shouldn't be doing it. Let me look it up. Definition. So we'll go to the Webster's dictionary. It says a woman who practices unlawful sexual commerce with men, especially one who prostitutes her body for hire, a prostitute or harlot, And it goes on to say to have unlawful sexual intercourse, to practice lewdness, to worship false and impure gods, to corrupt by lewd intercourse, and it goes on. And then we'll look at the Urban Dictionary as well. So, this definition as well says a prostitute, a woman who works as a prostitute. How in the hell is that positive, man? How is that affirming to say over and over again, there's some whores in this house or there's some hoes in this house? Now let's look up the Urban Dictionary, what it says. Let's see. That one doesn't really have it. Let's see. Let's see. Urban Dictionary. Oh, it just has top examples. I'm trying to see where the definition is, but you all get the point. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go any further, but we know the definition of a hoe. Let me just. And the question is like, what's self affirming about that? How is that affirming anything positive? How is reducing yourself down to your genitalia positive? What's reaffirming about that? How in the hell is that empowerment for women? Where these graphic lyrics about having sex and stuff like that. That's all this song is about. It's reducing women to hoes, reducing women to their vagina, reducing women down to sexual objects. And right here, as I was saying before in my prior video, you have this woman, basically talking about, in Megan Thee Stallion's lyrics, she's basically talking about sticking men for their money. Talking about paying her tuition just to kiss on this wet ass pussy. That's what it says. Basically, it's all these lyrics about money and stuff like that. Um, and right here it says he got some money. Then that's where I'm headed. Pussy A1, just like his credit. And you see this over and over again. There's some holes in it. There's some holes in this house. It says it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times at the end of this song. And my question is like, how is this women's empowerment? And then also this tells you, if I'm not mistaken, it says who produced the song, who actually wrote the song. I think it's at the end of it. Yeah, so it has it right here. It says written by. And you'll see it says 3 more. So this person right here is a man. This person is a man. This person is a man. This producer is a man. And then it has Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. So you got these men writing this song. So how is that women's empowerment? To me, that sounds like men pimping women to get money, to make money. Let's see what it says about the other stuff. It has the director, and that's a man. The director, it seems like that's a man as well. One of the, it has a couple of women here that are producers. But it's like you can't talk about women's empowerment, that this song is empowering women when it's written by men and it's a song that's degrading women, referring to women as hoes and talking about just sex and getting men, getting lames for their money and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to keep playing this audio. It's almost done, y'all.
And their pleasure, and they prioritize that. When that happens, all of a sudden people start tripping. That's why we love Cardi. That's why we love Meg. That's why we love Lil' Kim back in the day, because she was willing to assert her own sexual desire and not just simply be the receptacle for male desire. So shout out again to Cardi and Meg for doing this. And the last criticism,
he says, shout out to them for doing this. Like as if this is something great, as if this is something spectacular that's worthy of praise. I mean, again, this just shows like the extent to which people will go to simp. And it just shows this guy as a mangina, and I usually hardly ever use these terms, but right here, and in this case, it seems like this is a clear example of just that. Shameless simping to appeal to women, because, I mean, nobody in their right mind can say that this is some great positive project for women or for the Black community. So I'm gonna go to his last point.
That comes up. The last criticism that comes up is, why is Kylie Jenner in the video? She shouldn't be there. She's a distraction. All right, yeah, I agree with that one. I don't understand why we needed Kylie Jenner in this video. This was two powerful Black women asserting their power, their beauty, their skill. They were at the top of.
All right, so I mean, he's saying that this is two powerful women asserting their power and their skill and all that kind of stuff. How is this a certain power? How is being a hoe a certain power? How is this skillful when these lyrics are so basic and elementary? Not by anybody's standards are these some great 5 mic type lyrics or 5-star type lyrics, or lyrics that people would place on some kind of pedestal to say this is how you write a rhyme. And then I'm going to go into his point about Jenner in a second.
And they're coming together to do something special for the people. We did not need a white interloper. And it's not just that she's whiting in the video. She whiting in the video and ain't doing that. She ain't dancing. She's just walking. And the fact that she got the slow walk, the ISO, the still, it almost made it look like she was the baddest thing in the room, that she was the star of the show, that she deserved our undivided attention. And that kind of a move, to me, undermines the type of Black woman empowerment that the rest of the video did.
So I mean, first of all, like before I get to this white woman, he said that this undermines the kind of Black women empowerment that this video is all about. I mean, the fact that you would have this Negro had the nerve to like even form his mouth to say that this is some kind of empowerment for Black women, it just shows you how lost a lot of these people are, how distorted their sense of reality is. Being a hoe is being exploited. Pimps exploit hoes, quote unquote hoes. Pimps use hoes to make money. And the industry, the music industry, is the pimp pimping out these hoes. That's what they describe themselves as. That is not empowerment. Being a hoe is not empowerment. running around with no clothes on, engaged in lesbian sex acts to appeal to teenage boys. That's not empowerment. That's an example of someone who sold their soul in order to get rich. Someone who sold their integrity to get rich. Someone who sold their whole sense of self-respect and pride to get money. And this should be no surprise. I mean, these are women, after all, who started off being strippers and stuff like that. But this is his distorted sense of empowerment. And the fact that they featured this white woman, like had this white woman literally stop the show, shows you that this never was about some black woman's empowerment. This white woman walks in and she's not doing all this raunchy stuff like they are. She's not saying all these raunchy lyrics. She just walks through and the whole show stops for her. Again, this feeds into the idea that this white woman is some kind of standard of beauty, that she's some kind of precious idol. She's not running around like Cardi B and them in that video. Cardi B has both of her breasts sticking out of her shirt with, pasties on covering the nipples of her breasts. And you got these other women, like that Megan Thee Stallion with her whole ass out. You know what I'm saying? Literally ass out. But this woman walks through, looking all regal and dignified and stuff, while you got these black women acting like hoes, acting like what they say they are in that song. So, I mean, this can, and I agree that it undermines any kind of idea of empowerment, but the suggestion that there was even any glimpse of empowerment in this video is just preposterous, it's ridiculous. And it just shows you how intellectually dishonest or disingenuous this person is. Like, and it just, when I saw this, I was like wondering, are there any kind of financial connections between the griot and the company that does the music for Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion? Because I mean, his critique, his analysis, just epitomizes a lot of what's wrong with some of these people, these quote unquote liberals, and the way they think about a lot of things. So let me close this out. Let me finish this, and then I'm going to go to your comments.
Edited version. I'm like them people that made the change.org petition to get Cardi out the video. I'm with that. Take her out the video and leave us with this wonderful, beautiful video of Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. Thank you for making this video. Thank you for giving us something to listen to in the summer. And thank y'all for keeping hip hop moving forward.
How in the hell is that hip hop moving forward? I mean, if anything, it's hip hop moving backwards. He's saying wonderful, powerful, and all that kind of stuff to describe this piece of trash. But anyway, man, when I saw this, I just had to get on here. I just had to get on here and do this video. So yeah, so let's see what you all are saying before I close out. I know some people gonna come here and say, "Oh, he's the thought police." Shout out to Cali guy. Thanks for. I think you made a donation. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. And before I get to your comments, I just want to show a couple of these comments from this video, because I made a couple of comments on here and some people responded. Excuse me. So I just want to respond to a couple of things that people said in this video. So just bear with me a quick second. So I posted up this comment, basically saying that this is the dumbest commentary ever, which it is. And somebody agreed with me there. And I said, stop simping. And I'm going to show you what this one woman said. This woman said, I think this is a woman. They said, you mad because you never had any WAP, huh? I mean, that just shows you how low level a lot of these people are intellectually. It shows you just how low their vibration is and stuff like that. This is your comment. This is your response. Suggesting that somebody has some issue with women just because you're saying that this guy is pandering to women, which he is obviously doing. Anyone with ears and eyes can see that this is all that guy is doing, is pandering to these women. And, that's a big problem that you have. You have people that don't want to hold anybody accountable for anything. You got these weak ass men that don't want to hold women accountable, and they don't want to hold their brothers accountable as well. You will see in my content, I hold everybody accountable. I hold myself accountable as well. But these people don't want to hold anybody accountable, and they just want to pander to people, pander to women that do all kinds of ridiculous things. You got people that pander to. I'm sure there's somebody right now putting out a video talking about this. This Cardi B video is awesome. It celebrates women's empowerment. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody else besides this Marc Lamont Hill. It's like no shortage in people that will pander in order to win over women viewers, so that they can get likes and all that kind of stuff from women. A lot of these people don't have any integrity. So anytime you challenge this stuff, you're going to have somebody come out at you like this woman right here. I mean, I've never had any issue getting women. I mean, most people don't have issues getting women. I mean, that's not the whole point. Just because somebody criticizes foul behavior, when they criticize, pandering and all that kind of stuff, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them. And that's how they try to do it. When you criticize wrong in this society, they want to make you seem like you're the bad guy. They want to make it seem like something's deficient with you, something's wrong with you. I mean, and that's just so juvenile, it's childish, and that's how people respond to things. And that's how this particular person responded. I've never had any problem with the ladies or anything like that. And it's just crazy that somebody would get on here and leave this little silly comment here. But anyway, I just had to share that with y'all real quick. So let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. I want to thank y'all again for tuning in. I appreciate it. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Yeah, so Cohen Davis said that Marc Lamont Hill was co-signing disrespect of Frances Quest Welsing, but he simps for Cardi B, the stripper. Wow. Wow. I mean, that is a profound statement right there. This guy was the very one co-signing the disrespect of Frances Quest Welsing, but he simps for Cardi B, the stripper. That speaks volumes right there. And I don't agree with everything that Frances Cress Welsing espoused, but I would never disrespect her. And the fact that you got this guy disrespecting a black scholar while he elevates a former stripper who's putting out nothing but stripping music. That's all that music is a strip anthem and stuff. So yeah, I thought that was a great point that you raised. And this is a great point right here. It doesn't matter how vulgar a woman is, there's always going to be some simp justifying her. Exactly. That's what you have right here. This guy justifying this garbage, referring to this as wonderful, referring to it as women's empowerment. So the next time you see a woman like being prostituted on the street, I want to hear these people say that that's women's empowerment. That's women's sexual liberation, that's something wonderful, because essentially that's virtually what you have here. These women out here being hoes for the industry. That's what they are. That's what they even call themselves. And you got these people that defend this stuff, man. Yeah, it's just a shame, man. And this is like the thing that's problematic is like this man becomes the face of liberalism, and these types of ideas. And this is why it's easy for people to attack people that are progressive or people that are liberal or radical because they take examples like this and they blow them up and they use them over and over again to make it seem like um, you know liberals had no sense of morality or whatever. And it's just a shame that this guy becomes like the poster child for what liberalism is. And when we see this destruction of the black family, when we see like, you know, a situation where 75% of black families are headed by single black women, we're witnessing the destruction of our families. And these types of examples of ratchetness, they undermine family life. And I'm not pretending like I'm perfect or anything like that. I'm a flawed person just like anybody else. But somebody has to speak out about this stuff, man. We've accepted this stuff as normal and it's not normal. I mean, what kind of example is this for our young girls who listen to this stuff, who hear it on the radio, who watch it on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, who sing these little catchy beats, not realizing the meaning of those beats and the meaning of the lyrics. That stuff sinking into the subconscious of our young people and corrupting their young, precious minds. But this is Marc Lamont Hill's idea of women's empowerment. In his mind, this is wonderful. In his mind, this is affirming. In his distorted mind, this is positive. And that reminds me. This point that Def Rocker is raising is an interesting point. He says they were worse than the Two Live Crew. In a lot of ways, you can say that they definitely were. They, because I think about it, like I think Two Live Crew is an extreme example. They basically use women as props on their stage and stuff like that. But it's like you had these women that are voluntarily using themselves as props, using themselves as sex objects. It used to be a time when hip hop artists would have women on stage as objects, would, and they still do, and use derogatory terms towards women, calling them hoes and bitches. But now you got women that's volunteering to do that for themselves, to label themselves as that, to be sexual objects themselves. And the thing is, like, even though you have men that have these raunchy lyrics, you don't see the men, and for the most part, you don't see men walking around naked in most of their videos in order to appeal to rap the rap audience. They don't have to take off all their clothes to sell their records and stuff like that. But here you have these talentless, women on here that are just singing songs that somebody else wrote for them, just performing stuff that somebody else gave them, just performing dances that somebody else choreographed for them. And that's supposed to be art. That's supposed to be something wonderful and creative and all that stuff. So let me just go to these other comments that you all left. John Pro said Marc Lamont Hill is a piece of work. And I mean, there's some points that I agree with him on. Like, I mean, there are points of agreement that I have with him on different issues. But on this, it's like we're on complete different sides of the coin, like into two different universes. I mean, this guy is just lost it. And I mean, it's just a shame that, that he would put out this kind of ridiculous commentary. I mean, I don't know if he has kids, but I have two daughters, and there's no way in hell that I would want my daughters performing in some video like this, that I would want my daughters singing this type of music, that I would want my daughters half naked or virtually naked performing this type of song, or listen, playing this kind of music and imitating these kinds of artists. And my question for him is, would you want your daughter in that video? Would you want your mother in that video? Would you want your sister in that video? Or any other woman that you care about or that you actually respect? Would you want her in that video singing about some wet ass pussy? I mean, it's just so crazy, man. When I saw this stuff, it just fired me up, man. I'm sorry, man, but it's just like when I get going, man, it's just like when I saw this video, I was like, this is unbelievable that you got this guy going this far to pander to these ratchet women. You know what I'm saying? These skanky type of women. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just keeping it 100 with this video, man. Cali guy said Marc Lamont Hill is trying to be hip. And you see that a lot. You have these people that want to just try to seem like they're so cool and they're so with it. They know what's up with the young people. And they're around my age. They like middle-aged people trying to act like they all young and stuff like that, and they're all hip and into this stuff. Saying what they think most people will go along with. And if you look at that video, you'll see that, a lot of people aren't buying this trash. You'll see that, like, it's almost half and half with the likes and dislikes on that video. Yeah, but that's the ultimate question. Like, if you really think that this is all powerful, empowering, what do you think about your daughters doing this again? What do you think about your mother doing this, or your sister doing this, or your cousins doing this? Would you be proud of them? Would you think this was something fantastic, something wonderful, something affirming, something positive? If you do, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you for real. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, that Elaine makes, just because something was done before, that doesn't make it right. I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, just because somebody did something back in the day doesn't make it right. Just because people listened to trash back in the days, that doesn't make it, give some excuse for what people are playing today. Yeah, so Def Rocker mentioned Akadeli's song and Cringer when he put out that song. I think he's referring to Put It in Your Mouth or something like that. Yeah, and I wasn't really a fan of his back in the day. I don't even remember what that song sounds like or anything. Oh, man. DJ Wiz said these types of women are the same ones that simps will refer to as black queens. Oh, man. They will refer to them like that, I wouldn't be surprised if Marc Lamont Hill isn't like my black queen referring to Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B as Black Queens. And it's just like something about this just rubs me the wrong way that this kind of garbage will be celebrated as if it's great. As in the words of Marc Lamont Hill, that is wonderful, self-positive, affirming, and empowering. I mean, it's like, what planet do you live on, Negro? Like, what the hell is wrong with you that you would think that this is something positive? And I'm sure it's a lot of people co-signing this stuff too. Yeah, so somebody said it's never, Elaine said it's never too late to call for change. Um, and that's true. The name of the woman that was speaking out against gangster rappers is escaping me right now. I'm going to look it up right now. I'm sure one of y'all know. What's that sister's name that Tupac was complaining about, who was speaking out against music back in the day? Okay, it should come up when I do this basic search. Just bear with me a second. I'm sure somebody's probably putting it in the comments right now. I can't remember that lady's name. Oh, let's see. Oh, C. Dolores Tucker. That's her name. C. Dolores Tucker. That's who I meant to tell you all about. Yeah, she had a campaign back in the day, back in the 90s, where they were speaking out against this music. Even people like Al Sharpton were like protesting music studios, saying that they need to do something about this negativity in the music and all that kind of stuff. Um, so let's not act like people were just like going along with anything that was going on back in the day, like they weren't criticizing this stuff. Yeah, and then Renaissance Man said the scary thing is this is a brother. This brother is Ivy League educated, and he's a professor. This is a professor talking about this is empowering and stuff. This is a man with influence, some power and stuff like that, and he's squandering it to celebrate Cardi B and and Megan the Stallion. Yeah, it's just something else. Yeah, and as Cali Guy points out, Snoop, Ludacris, Dre, and even Ice Cube were condemned back in the day. Yeah, so DJ Wiz mentioned her name. Yeah, it was C. Dolores Tucker again. And yeah, and like Def Rocker pointed out, Tipper Gore was one of the people that helped get those parental guidance stickers on albums. So let's not pretend like nobody, like people weren't saying anything about this music back in the day. Yeah, he's the way he was presenting it, you would think that everybody was fine with that music back in the day. Everybody was cool with Two Live Crew. From what I understand, shows that they did were shut down. You couldn't even play Two Live Crew on the radio and stuff. They didn't even play their music on the radio. And if they did, it was heavily censored. Yeah, but this is a disgrace. Yeah, and this is a great point right here. DJ Wiz pointed out how it's funny that Mark Lamont Hill mentions Little Kim because it was Biggie who convinced her to rap like that. I mean, Biggie was writing this woman's raps and telling her what kind of image to present and all that kind of stuff. That's not women's empowerment. That's women being pimped. I mean, why? How come this guy can't see this? So somebody said, so we're censoring artists. No, I'm not censoring any artists. I don't have any power to censor anybody. And even if I mean, I don't believe in censorship, as I said, like for the people that were listening earlier, I don't believe in censorship. I think that they have every right to put out their music, but I also have every right to speak out against it. I have every right to raise my objection. I have every right to, not to discourage people from buying the trash and celebrating this garbage. Um, I don't believe in censorship. I think that the way that you defeat bad speech is with better speech. And, that's what I'm doing with this broadcast. So, yeah, I want to thank people for tuning in. Let me see if there are any other points that I want to respond to in the chat before I close out. I truly appreciate you. So somebody said, well, why are you, well, A. Shabazz said, well, why are you complaining? Just don't listen to it. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, I don't listen to it. But just because I don't think the answer is just not listening to something. That's like somebody saying, well, oh, why are you complaining about Rush Limbaugh being a racist? Why are you complaining about, this newscaster or Tucker Carlson or whatever that guy's name is? Why are you complaining about him saying racist stuff on his show or having a racist writer? Just don't watch him. Just don't watch Rush. Don't listen to Rush Limbaugh or don't listen to this person or that person. Don't buy that artist's music or something like that. If some artist says something racist or something crazy, we don't say, oh, let him do him. We just not going to buy his stuff. Nobody does that. I mean, and I just think that that's just a way of low key defending this trash. I don't think that that's the answer. I don't think turning a blind eye to trash is an answer, especially when our children are listening to this stuff. When our children are looking at these hoes, as they call themselves, as role models. I don't think that's something that we can just turn some blind eye to. There comes a time when you got to speak out against things that are wrong. And, this stuff should be spoken out against. I mean, you had an icon of Malcolm X. Do you think Malcolm X would be chilling, if this was the kind of music and image of our women that was being put out here for the whole world to consume? And this is not just about those individuals in their song. This is about the image of Black women that's being put out here for the whole damn world to consume. So the whole world can view the Black woman as a whole. So the whole world can view Black women in that negative light. And so Black women can view themselves in that negative light. This is part of the brainwashing that people like Malcolm X was talking about when he talked about who taught you to hate yourself. This is the way they program people to have no respect for themselves. And it's how they program people abroad. Like people, like even if you just look at the hip hop music, like the negative messages in regular hip hop and stuff like that, or gangster hip hop. You travel abroad and these people think that you are the N word. They think that that's what your name is because they've been listening to this music. These people that don't live in our community, who aren't of our community, they think that being a thug is what it means to be Black. because of the messaging that they hear in this music. For many people, their only exposure to Black people is through music and entertainment and stuff like that. And when these are the images that they see of our Black women, it furthers entrenches, racist ideas about the Black woman. And we know that this hypersexual image of the Black woman is nothing new. That's a long going stereotype of Black women. And this is nothing but a perpetuation of this. It's nothing but a perpetuation of the Black woman as the thought that has been put out here for a long time before there was even the word thought. That terminology was out here. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I mean, if you're fine with it, then be fine with it. But me, I'm going to speak out against it. I'm going to speak out against the degradation of Black women. I'm going to speak out against Black women being used as sex objects, being presented as hoes and all that kind of stuff, being presented as materialistic prostitutes. I'm going to speak out against that. And if people don't like it, they can tune out. But I'm going to speak out against it. As long as I had this platform, I'm going to speak out against the nonsense. And if you think that's something positive for these women to be running around like hoes, then knock yourself out. But I'm speaking out against it. A. Shabazz asked if I supported Rhapsody. Yes, I did support her. For people that don't know, I did a review of her album where I celebrated her. And I'm going to try to pull that up so people could see that I did this. And I regularly celebrate and, talk about those artists that have done something positive or have positive messages in their music. Okay, let me see if I can find this. Just bear with me a second. I'm going to close this out. I know it's been kind of long. I don't really like doing these long videos. Um, okay, so I have it up here. I'm going to just show y'all this real quick. People suggesting that. So I did this video right here last year, about a year ago, about Rhapsody's new album. And I'm talking about how it's the truth. And that's what we need to have, more of that kind of music. And I'm not saying that that's the only kind of music that we need to have. I'm not saying that all we need is positive music. We need more balance in this hip hop thing. That's what we need. But we have an industry that thrives on negativity. We have an industry that promotes the thought type rapper over a rapper like a Rhapsody. These women. I'm gonna try to chill. These women, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, they're getting all kinds of attention. And, unfortunately, I'm helping them feed into that attention by doing these videos. But they're getting all kinds of attention for this trash. But yet you have an artist like a Rhapsody, that doesn't get that kind of attention and praise or, play or sales and stuff like that. And part of that is because of the industry. The industry promotes negativity and stuff. And so this guy, Ace Shabazz, is talking about, well, why don't you point out? He basically saying, well, speak out against Future and all the men talking about pills. Anybody that's seen my videos about hip hop or heard me talk about hip hop know that I regularly do this. This is not just some one-sided criticism of women rappers. I've done plenty of videos on this channel and on my I Declare War channel, speaking out against the negativity in the music. Okay, so Marsha Jackson said, we're already the most disrespected group as Black women, and they sing in sexual lyrics. And, you know, she goes on to refer to sexual exploitation, like, you know, they promote sexual exploitation. And that's, you know, all it does is promote a lot of those negative images. So anyway, you know, I don't want to keep y'all much longer. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Please rate, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I post new content on here. Peace and blessings, everyone. Have a great day.